New on Sunrise, Indiana Governor Mike Pence delivers a bold message about terrorism this morning. Coming up, strong words from the possible presidential hopeful about the country's defense strategy. Plus, a terror arrest right here in Indiana. Why the FBI says it's tracking the suspect for years and why they finally took him to jail.
And we are tracking another winter storm. Yes, it's going to land over the weekend. I'll have the timing and the details coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News Sunrise starts now.
Good morning and welcome to Sunrise. The time is 6 o'clock on your Saturday morning. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Naomi Peskovitz here with Kelly Green. We are starting off our Saturday right with a nice day today that will turn kind of yucky.
You got it. I mean, we are talking about more snow again this weekend, and it looks like it's going to start pushing in a little bit later on tonight, despite the fact we are starting to pick up some returns here from southern Illinois, and the clouds have definitely been thickening up as we've headed into the past several hours, so that's allowing temperatures actually to hold pretty steady this morning. As you can see, we do have some blues that are popping up here in southern Illinois. I do think a lot of this is in the form of virga, which means it's not actually hitting the ground. It's evaporating before it gets all the way to the surface, but eventually that will change. It's currently 8 degrees in Meridian Hills, 8 degrees in Zionsville, 11 degrees in Garfield Park. It's 7 in Greenfield, 8 degrees in Speedway, 12 in Greenwood, and it is 10 degrees in Indianapolis. Temperatures already warming up, so didn't break a record this morning. I'm sure that's okay with many of you. Now today we'll see those temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 20s this afternoon as the clouds will continue to thicken up throughout the afternoon. I do think most of the snow will hold off until later on tonight. So actually a pretty pleasant afternoon. Temperatures again climbing into the mid 20s, but we do have a winter storm advisory in effect, and I'll have those details coming up in just a few minutes. Naomi?
Kelly, thank you. New on Sunrise, Indiana Governor Mike Pence talked tough on terrorism in a speech to fellow conservatives last night. Pence talked about the international challenges during his address to CPAC in Maryland. He was also critical of President Barack Obama.
The president says that jobs are the answer to violent jihad. Well, Mr. President, Jihadi John doesn't want a job. He wants to see paradise. And I think we should help him get there as quickly as possible.
Well, Pence also called for increasing defense spending in the speech. He told the folks at CPAC that no defense strategy will protect the nation unless federal leaders rebuild the U.S. military. Well, Eyewitness News told you this week about a terror arrest in Plainfield. Now it turns out that the FBI had been tracking that man for years. 13 Investigates has been digging into this story, and officials believe that suspect had been here in the Midwest helping ISIS terrorists in the Middle East. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel explains how FBI agents caught their man.
His name is Nihad Rosic. He's originally from Bosnia. Moved here to the United States, where he's worked as a truck driver. But federal agents say he lives a double life and that he's been part of a group that's been directly supporting ISIS terrorists in the Middle East. As bloody battles rage on in Syria, the FBI and federal prosecutors have been working behind the scenes here in the United States. 3 weeks ago in St. Louis, prosecutors announced the indictment of 6 Bosnian nationals for conspiring to help ISIS terrorists. But what prosecutors did not announce is one of the suspects was arrested here in central Indiana. 13 Investigates has learned federal agents have been tracking Nihad Rosic for years. The FBI tells Eyewitness News the truck driver was making a routine delivery off of Ronald Reagan Parkway in Plainfield when they made their arrest. And it happened about an hour before Air Force One landed with President Barack Obama nearby. The timing appears to be a coincidence. What is not coincidence, according to this indictment, is the relationship between Rosic and a brutal terrorist group. The indictment says Rosic and other defendants provided ISIS fighters with U.S. military uniforms, combat boots, tactical gear, and firearms accessories such as rangefinders and rifle scopes. They also wired thousands of dollars in cash, all in an elaborate conspiracy to commit murder and maiming in Syria and Iraq. Investigators obtained records from Western Union and PayPal. Prosecutors say they show the transfer of money from the suspects here in the Midwest to known terrorists in the Middle East. Federal agents also monitored phone calls, emails, and Facebook to infiltrate the group's communication. According to the indictment, members of the conspiracy used coded language, referring to each other as lions. They called Syria the beach, and weapons were known as actions. Prosecutors say Rosick planned to fly to Syria to join ISIS on the battlefield. He and other defendants are now facing 3 federal counts of conspiracy and assisting terrorists. After his arrest in Plainfield, Nihad Rosick spent 5 days in the Marion County Jail. The U.S. Marshals Service then transported him to St. Louis, where he's now facing those serious charges. John and Andrea, back to you.
Well, Bob, thank you. People in Plainfield were surprised to learn about this kind of arrest so close to home. The arrest happened on Ronald Reagan Parkway just before President Barack Obama landed at Indianapolis International Airport a couple miles away. By coincidence, Plainfield is home to the Islamic Society of North America, where members applauded the arrest.
We're clearly against ISIS. They killed one of our own, a Hoosier, Abdurrahman Peter Kassig, and our hearts still go out to the family for their loss and for the loss of others that were taken because of ISIS terrorism.
A Franklin College professor says it's important not to confuse peace-loving Muslims with terrorists, and many are brokenhearted that their faith is being sabotaged by ISIS. Indiana University police will start wearing body cameras today as part of a field test. Cameras like this one will be tested by officers on 3 IU campuses around the state. They've gained a lot of national attention since the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. But more research may be needed to find out how effective they are. The results of this field test will give a committee of students and faculty and law enforcement an opportunity to consider cost and controversy around the new technology. The committee should have its recommendation in May. An appeals court has agreed to reduce the prison sentence for a former Plainfield middle school teacher. Joseph Singleton was convicted of molesting a 13-year-old student. He was originally sentenced to 38 years in prison, but the appeals court just dropped his sentence to 20 years. They say he had no prior criminal history, served in the military, and has tutored other inmates behind bars. A former assistant swim coach at North Central High School has pleaded not guilty to child seduction charges. Police say 36-year-old Matthew Carrington allegedly sent explicit text messages to a 16-year-old student who's a member of the swim team. The teen also alleges Carrington fondled her on school grounds. Prosecutors say the girl's parents came forward after they found inappropriate text messages. The Newcastle school superintendent says he is reviewing letters written by students that were critical of the I-STEP and the politics of education in Indiana. We told you earlier this week the 5th and 6th graders at Wilbur Wright Elementary wrote the letters as part of a lesson in persuasive writing. Some critics were concerned over whether the teacher coaxed the children on what to write. In a statement, Superintendent Stephen Fisher wrote, "This matter is reviewed by the superintendent's office as a personnel issue because it involves evaluation of the conduct of professional staff and the performance of instruction, and the superintendent's office will not offer public comment on this matter." Well, I-STEP continues this week here in Indiana, but one school found a quite unique way to get pumped up for the exam. This is pretty cool. Listen in.
Hey, ho! Stop! Wait a minute. Fill my pencil, put some lead in it. Make it click. Write a check. Julio, get the test. Right to the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th. If we show up, we're gonna show out. Smooth and fresh, our skippy.
Pretty good, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, students and teachers at St. Lawrence Catholic School, there they are in Indianapolis, put together this fun music video to the tune of, you guys know the song, right? Bruno Mars,
love it.
Uptown Funk. It's a great one. Well, a fun way, of course, to get kids excited for the test. We do have the entire clip posted to our website as well. They do a pretty good job.
Super cute.
Their costumes are pretty good too.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, you know, they've been working so hard preparing for it. I have some teacher friends that are like, it's a lot of stress for them. So to be able to, kind of blow off some steam and have fun with that song. That's cool.
Exactly. They did a nice job.
Yeah.
Well, any chance of school delays on Monday? Are we talking about that yet?
There is a chance of some delays. We are looking at accumulating snow, and right now we're starting off at 10 degrees in Indianapolis. We're actually warming up, so we did not break a record this morning, but we still have cold temperatures all across central Indiana. It's 1 degree in Kokomo, 1 in Marion, 3 in Crawfordsville. I'll have details and the timing of the snow coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast.
And many of us watched online as this scene unfolded this week. Coming up, you will meet the man who lassoed that llama. Plus, a dramatic weight loss in a short period of time, how he did it, and what his doctor is saying this morning.
2, 3.
A live look there this morning from Capitol Hill in Washington, and on Capitol Hill last night, a crisis averted, or maybe just delayed. Just hours before the Department of Homeland Security would run out of money, Congress agreed to fund DHS, but just for a week. It's been at the center of a political fight over immigration. The measure now goes to President Barack Obama for his signature. An unknown driver knocks a NASCAR driver off the track before he even gets to the raceway. Travis Quaffle will be on the sidelines for tomorrow's Sprint Cup race at Atlanta Motor Speedway after his car was stolen. Here's surveillance video now capturing the moment when the $250,000 stock car was just taken from a hotel parking lot near the track. The number 44 car is owned by a small budget team called Team Extreme, which does not have a backup car to run. Fans, though, and other drivers have offered support. There's even an offer for free pit passes for every race the rest of the season. This is for anyone who can help find that stolen car. Well, llamas on the lam sure captured the attention of the entire country on Thursday. By now, you've seen this video. The escape and wild pursuit across a neighborhood in suburban Phoenix. We now know, though, the identity of the man who used that lasso to capture that white llama. Nico Martinez says when he first saw the animals trotting down the street, he thought they were horses.
But when I see the llamas, you know, my blood, my heart work real fast, you know. So I think crazy, I go do it, you know.
He sure did. Llama's owner says she's quite glad that Martinez was around. And they do kind of look like horses. They're so huge.
Well, it's not common to see a llama just taken off and wandering down the street. His heart was racing. Obviously, he's lassoed a few times.
Yeah, he was kind of a pro, I would think. He knew what he was doing. All right, Kelly, today we're talking about a winter storm advisory starting this evening.
Yes, we do have an advisory that kicks in tonight. This is kind of another long-term storm that is actually going to really take over most of Sunday. As you can see from our radar and satellite, we already have some snow that's showing up in southern Illinois. Now, I do think that will be just in the form of virga. It's actually evaporating before it hits the ground with very dry environment in place. Temperatures already warming up this morning. Indianapolis actually fell to 7 degrees this morning, and we're already warming back up again, so no record breaker this morning at 10 degrees. It's 3 below, though, right now in Muncie, 1 degree above zero in Marion, and 6 in Lafayette. Now, it is starting to cloud up. The air temperature at 10 degrees. Winds are out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour, and it feels like it's 1 below zero. Future track 13 showing that the clouds will thicken up throughout the afternoon as the storm system moves in a little bit closer. Temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 20s this afternoon. So we will see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Temperatures climbing into the mid 20s as the winds start to turn out of the east southeast. So that will allow that warmer air to move in. So what we're expecting this weekend is really 2 waves of steady snow. We also may see a bit of a mixture. The first real stronger wave will start after midnight tonight, continuing until about 6 a.m. And then we'll see another wave from about 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And I do think we'll see a little bit of that mixing in with some rain. And I'll get to that in just a moment. But the heaviest snow, we do have confidence, will be north of Indianapolis. So let's take a look here. We do have a winter weather advisory. It's in effect for all of central Indiana starting tonight through tomorrow evening. So this is, again, a long-term storm. Future track 13 shows the snow starting to push in after 7 p.m. tonight. It will continue overnight, and I do think it will become more widespread during the overnight hours. And then by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, I do think we'll start to see this tapering off just a little bit. During the overnight, temperatures fall to 22 degrees. Winds will be out of the southeast. Accumulating snow likely, possibly 1 to 2 inches. Heaviest will be to the north. Then as we head into the morning hours, I do think we'll see a little break in the action, but then it ramps back up again by 10 a.m. We'll start to see the snow becoming more widespread. We do have this freezing line, a line of demarcation. We've talked about it all winter long. It's actually south of the I-70 corridor this time. So Bloomington, Columbus, Greensburg will likely see the lighter accumulations. It will likely mix in with some rain by Sunday afternoon. Indianapolis still kind of in that question mark of how much snow we could see with that as this storm system continues to evolve, and we will keep you updated because at this point it looks like 2 to 4 inches of snow will be possible for portions of Indianapolis, 4 to 6 to the north, and that's where we do expect to see the heaviest snowfall. Temperatures today climbing to 28 degrees. We drop down to 22 tomorrow. Accumulation for Indianapolis and really along that I-70 corridor around 2 to 4 inches, high of 34 tomorrow afternoon.
Wow, I do see a 45 in there. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, that's actually near normal for this time of year, believe it or not.
It doesn't feel like it. Well, I know you had a fun weekend already starting.
Yes, yesterday we did the 1070 fan charity bowling event. It was a lot of fun, and I got to play with Bruce and Bob Kravitz and Greg Catherine, our producer, and so we had a blast yesterday. Bob Kravitz was on fire.
Is that him?
Yeah, I took that picture yesterday. So that was earlier in the game, so he had kind of that split, and I tweeted out, you know, is he going to make it? Well, he didn't make that, but what he did is he had 5 strikes in a row.
What?
And a spare. He scored 188. He had one of the highest scores. We didn't actually win. We came in second place because I was terrible.
Well, I can't bowl either, but that's pretty good. He must practice, right?
He said he hadn't played in years, but he did have his own ball, and so did Bruce, which I did not.
We are on to you guys.
But it was a lot of fun, and it was a great event, and our segment raised money for the Riley Foundation, which I'm always a big fan of. So,
well, even if you came in second, you're still winners in my head. Well, we have another bowling story for you this morning. When you're getting in shape, you may look at the scale, your belt loop, but What about your bowling ball, huh? Health Beat anchor Anne-Marie Tiernan spoke with Mr. Rushville's Mr. Bowling, who has a new outlook.
It's the place to be. When we've been here for 60 years.
Just about any day of the week, you'll find Jim Eflin holding court at the Rushville Bowl.
My nickname is Mr. Bowling anywhere I go.
The proud owner says bowling well,
like a switch, baby, like a switch,
is a family trait.
In 1 year, 10 guys could average 200. 10 guys out of 80,000. My dad was one of them.
But recently, Jim's scores have reflected too many spares.
Off your hand, you know if it's a good shot or not off your hand. The last month, the question's been, how you doing? I said, I've never felt better and never bowled worse.
Jim's dad died at 50, his mom at 68, both of a heart attack. Genetics and poor health habits caught up with Jim December 5th.
His EKG suggested that he was having a huge heart attack.
I didn't know what to do because I knew both his parents died from a heart attack, and I didn't want to lose my dad the same way. So
I always knew I was going to have one, but I didn't think it'd be now. And to do what I was doing, to eat what I was eating, was just turn a blind eye. I mean, like, I'm above it.
But not anymore. Now Jim is exercising with support in cardiac rehab.
I want to be around for my son, my daughter, and their futures.
He's limited his sodium to under 2,000 milligrams a day.
This was one of my best friends right here, the old M&M. And that baby's about 210 milligrams of sodium, so.
He's getting pretty annoying about it. Everything he eats, he's, get out your phone, look up how much sodium's in this, how much is in that.
And it's working. Jim is down a whopping 57 pounds.
My thumb has become 5 or 6 sizes too small. As I was heavier, I mean, it's way too big for me.
I'm proud of him. That's what I'd say, proud.
Jim wants to lose another 30 pounds, but first there's a streak he aims to keep.
I'm getting ready to go to my 43rd consecutive national bowling tournament. The record is 72, and I think I can beat it. Money! Money!
Anne-Marie, thank you. So as we wrap up American Heart Association Month today, for Jim Eflin, family is why he is managing his risk for heart disease. You are also encouraged to find your why and take action too. Well, next on Sunrise, it is a whale of a sale where you can score huge deals this weekend on all the essentials for your kids. And Hoosier veterans are getting support from one of Indy's most successful car teams. Coming up, how you can help raise money for Indy Honor Flight today while meeting some of your favorite drivers. Welcome back. A fundraiser this weekend will help get a group of local veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials honoring their sacrifices. Ganassi Racing is having a fundraiser for Indy Honor Flight at their Woodland Drive facility today. The open house and the auction is from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And one of the hottest items up for auction this year, we think, is a tour of the new WTHR studio. The highest bidder will be able to come visit the station and meet the Sunrise crew. It'll help pay for an honor flight in April. Sports director Dave Calabro's father will be among the veterans on that trip. Well, you could get a great deal this weekend at the annual Whale of a Sale. They'll have 70,000 gently used kids' clothes and toys.
So we have 6 football fields worth of clothing here for people to look through, newborn to teen sizes. And then, as you can see all around us, just all kinds of toys and books and games and gear and everything you need for the upcoming season.
Well, because of liability issues and recalls, cribs and car seats, they are not a part of the sale. It's open to the public today from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and tomorrow is half price day. That's from 11 to 3. It's in Carmel at the Hamilton Crossing Plaza. For more info, just go to WTHR.com. Well, crews are getting ready for another wave of snow this weekend. Coming up, the unique ingredient one public works department is mixing with its salt to prepare for the roads for tomorrow.
And it is a pleasant day today, but we are tracking snow. Temperatures will climb into the upper 20s this afternoon. The clouds will increase and snow moves in later on tonight. I'll have the tracking and how much snow to expect coming up in our SkyTrack 13 forecast.
A young mother's road to recovery. Rebecca Sperry talks about the crash that killed her husband and left her badly injured.
Getting ready for more snow. Things are clear right now, but the roads will be a dramatically different story in just less than 24 hours. I'm Matt McCutcheon with what crews are doing in our Snow Team 13 coverage, plus the delicious ingredient they're using to help clear the roads.
And yes, we are tracking snow on our radar and satellite. We will be timing that out for you and let you know how much snow to expect this weekend coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News at Sunrise continues.
Good morning once again. Time now 6:30. Welcome back to Sunrise. Naomi Peskovitz here with Kelly Green. You just heard Matt McCutcheon there talking about a special delicious ingredient. Wait till you hear what it is. I happen to know that Matt McCutcheon does not think it's delicious. So
Okay.
We'll see what you guys think coming up.
Right.
In the meantime, we are tracking risk of weather on the way tonight. How soon and how much are we talking?
Well, it looks like it'll start coming in after 7 p.m. tonight. So a good chunk of the day actually will be quite pleasant. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds. You can see the clouds already starting to move in. And if we zoom out a little bit wider here, you can see already picking up some returns of some snow in southern Illinois. We're not actually seeing that hit the ground. It's in the form of virga, which means it's basically evaporating before it makes it all the way to the surface. A very dry environment. Your humidifiers may be running nonstop. We're going to see a lot more moisture moving in, though, over the next several days. In fact, into next week, and I'll have more details about that coming up. It's currently 10 degrees right now in Greenwood, 4 in Noblesville, 7 degrees in Zionsville, and 10 degrees right now in Columbus from our WeatherBug network. Temperatures today will climb into the mid to upper 20s throughout the afternoon. The winds will actually start to turn out of the southeast. Notice the clouds will thicken up, so we will see a lot more cloud coverage this afternoon, but really a pretty pleasant afternoon. Temperatures climbing to around 28 degrees this afternoon, and then later on tonight a winter weather advisory goes into effect, and that will continue until tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and I'll have the timing, the details on that coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast, because we do expect to see accumulating snow with this system, and it will bring likely 2 to 4 inches of snow along that I-70 corridor. Heavier amounts north of Indianapolis. We do have more confidence in that. A lot of moisture with this system. 4 to 6 inches will be possible north of Indianapolis. All more details and the timing on that coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast. Naomi?
Kelly, thank you. With more snow on the way, so close to March, some salt supplies are already stretching thin. Our Snow Team 13 coverage continues this morning with Sunrise reporter Matt McCutcheon, who joins us live with some creative ways communities across the area are making the salt last longer. Matt, what is it?
Naomi, good morning. I have to tell you, I know you love it. I think it's disgusting. More on that in a second, but what a difference a year makes. This time last year, we stood here in Indianapolis at 50 inches of snow. So from here to the sidewalk, 50 inches of snow is what we had this time last year that had fallen all winter long. This year, a dramatically different story. 15 inches of snow is our total here in Indianapolis. Despite less snow falling, there is still a major salt crunch in some communities. I checked in over the past couple of days with DPW, the Indy Snow Force. They're responsible for the roads right here like Meridian Street in downtown Indianapolis, and they're actually in a good salt supply status right now. Then when it goes to the interstates like I-65, for example, which is managed by INDOT, they also have a good salt supply. However, to some of our other counties, it's a dramatically different story. Let's go to our south, to Brown County. Right now, they average about 200 to 300 tons of salt used per winter weather event. Right now, they've got about 400 tons of salt left. I mean, this winter storm that's coming tonight into tomorrow could leave them dangerously low, if not completely wipe out their salt supply, depending on how often they have to go out and clear the roads. They started this winter with 1,800 tons of salt, and right now, they're actually mixing more sand with their salt, which they say is beneficial for the many hills they have in the area. In Boone County, it's a different and, well, some may say delicious alternative to mix with the salt. It's beet juice. You heard that correct, beet juice. The sugary, sweet mixture is added with the salt, and they say it helps prolong the salt's longevity on the roads, and it's also better for the environment.
Helps it stick to the road a little bit better. Adds a little weight to the salt so it stays on the road where you put it, you know, in the lane. And being that it's a little bit stickier, you know, it stays, as far as residual, a little longer than just a salt. You know, when the water hits it, it immediately, you know, starts to run off the road.
It also does better in the colder temperatures. That's because regular salt kind of loses its effectiveness around 12 to 13 degrees. They say that when you add the beet juice with it, it helps extend the life to as cold, they say, as negative 30 degrees. The good news is we're not expecting anything as cold as that out here today or throughout the weekend. And I have to tell you, Naomi, talking to some of those crew members, they say that the only time you smell it is when you're mixing it. And some of the men say that they have to wear masks because it's pretty potent.
Wow, I don't even think of beets as having a strong smell. And I guess I would have pictured it to be much more purple with the salt, but...
Yeah, it's kind of brown, but I have to disagree with you. My aunt loves beets, and it always has such a stench, but that's my opinion. I know a lot of people love it, but it's not for me.
Well, enjoy it out there, Matt. We'll check back with you in a little bit. Police in Cass County arrested a snowplow driver for allegedly shooting at a woman in a road rage incident. According to our news gathering partners at the Kokomo Tribune, 20-year-old Drew Boehm pulled a gun on the driver of a car he was following and opened fire. The woman in the car was not hit. Police in Lawrence say they are getting more tips about who may have hit a man on Pendleton Pike last weekend and then drove off. You can see the surveillance video here that captured that accident. It's too violent to show the entire video, but police hope this is enough to lead them to a driver. Witnesses thought they saw a Dodge Charger type car hit the man, but investigators say it's not clear what type of passenger car it was. The man hit is showing signs of improvement, but he's still in critical condition this morning. Fishers police have issued a new Crime Watch alert. Investigators report a burglary and an attempted burglary both in the last 2 weeks. One happened in the Intercoastal at Geist neighborhood and the other at Fishers Farm. In one case, the homeowner was able to scare the suspects away. Police say this is a good reminder to check the security around your home and call police if you see something suspicious. That's the same message as our Blue Pledge, and you can take the Blue Pledge right now at WTHR.com. Only on 13 this morning, an interview with a young mother who's still coping with the effects of a deadly crash that killed her husband while she was pregnant. Rebecca Sperry's husband never got to see his little baby delivered. Sunrise reporter Emily Longnecker found out Rebecca also has a long road to recovery.
There you go.
These are the moments 23-year-old Rebecca Sperry cherishes every day. Tender moments between a mother and her 10-month-old daughter.
You gonna eat his face?
Moments that very well might not have happened.
It makes even the small things a lot more special. So, but it also, you know, puts it into perspective that, you know, I can do all I can to protect her, but our time's in God's hands.
That point never more true for Rebecca than last April, when her husband Jesse was killed in a crash as they drove home from church. Investigators say an Edgewood police officer under the influence rear-ended the couple's car, pushing it into a utility pole. Jesse died at the scene. Rebecca was rushed to the hospital, delivering Autumn by emergency C-section.
For a while, she wasn't using her left side at all. At first, we were concerned that she'd had a stroke or something. Oh, you got bells?
Almost 11 months later, though.
Oh.
Doctors have told Rebecca Autumn is just fine.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Rebecca's road to healing, though, has been much longer.
You still don't have any feeling here, huh?
Not really, no.
As you can see, when I'm pushing, there's some fluid underneath there.
Rebecca's had to fight reoccurring blood clots in both legs that doctors have drained several times.
When it gets full of fluid, it's painful.
Yeah, I can feel the weight of it pull on the leg and put pressure on the knee.
That's why she'll be back next month for another surgery.
There's no other way that I know of to get rid of it because it's so deep.
It feels like I'm dragging a ball around.
And Rebecca can't be slowed down. Not now, with a little girl months away from walking.
I definitely want to be able to run with her.
Rebecca, after all, is facing years of being mom and dad to Autumn.
I know the day will come when she asks, where's my dad? Why don't I have a daddy?
When that day does come, Rebecca wants to be strong enough to have the right answer. Emily Longnecker, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
Rebecca's insurance won't cover the surgery, so she's had to raise money on her own. Thankfully, though, people have stepped up to help her pay for the procedure, and we're glad to see that Autumn is doing so well, too. Well, there's a lot of weather to track this weekend. Kelly's on top of it all morning long.
Yes, we are looking at more accumulating snow later this weekend. As you can see right now on Live Doppler 13 radar, it is quiet and dry, but things will change later on today. I'll have the details coming up on Sunrise.
And we may have found some of the most well-behaved dogs on the planet. Coming up, you won't believe what happened during this visit to doggy daycare. Welcome back. We always like to check out what's trending today. So we found a doggy daycare that may have the most well-behaved dogs on the planet. Take a look at this. A Facebook video posted by Canine Country Club in Washington State earlier this week shows 16 dogs there. They're all lined up inside that gate. An employee at the daycare, though, you can hear slowly calling their names. And you can tell they know their names because on cue, each dog walks through that gate right as their name is called.
They are so well behaved.
I know, right? That must be a pretty good daycare. As adorable, though, as that video is, there's a great payoff at the end. And also today is National Tooth Fairy Day.
Yes.
Did you know?
You really don't get it, do you? You don't see that children's fantasies, their abilities to imagine, are important?
Well, that's a clip from the 2010 movie Tooth Fairy. You may have seen it. Well, Visa, I haven't seen it either.
No.
They just released their annual Tooth Fairy survey. So it shows that American children got an average of $3.40 per tooth lost last year. How much did you get?
I got a quarter.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, me too.
Obviously I'm a little bit older, only by, a year or two. I think that you would have gotten more just because you're a little younger.
Yeah, no, just a quarter. But we wanted to share this picture with you. This is me, as you can see. I guess I'm probably on the right, sitting from your seat at home. There I am with my best friend. I guess I'm on the left. There I am with my best friend Jessica, who clearly had figured out how to smile at this point. I think we're about 5 or 6 years old. I, unfortunately, had not.
You were very excited that day.
We were dressed like princesses. Of course we were excited. But yes, no teeth.
That's very cute.
Yes, it is. It's a cute one for sure. And I don't know how many parents are giving $3, $4 because it was a quarter.
Well, my sister lives in San Clemente, California, and her 5-year-old said they get gold coins. Like all the kids at her school said, they get gold coins. And my sister's like, no, you're not. The Tooth Fairy's not going to bring that.
No, just a quarter. Well, tonight is going to be a snowy night.
Yes, we are looking at some accumulating snow that will push in, but the good news is a good chunk of today is going to be quiet and dry. As you can see here on our satellite radar, we're starting to see some returns from southern Illinois right now. If we zoom out a little bit wider, you can see this is a large storm. It is going to take its sweet time moving across the Great Lakes area, so we will see some snow, but it will likely hold off until later on tonight. In the meantime, temperatures are actually warming up. It's 10 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 2 in Marion, 3 below 0 in Muncie, 4 above in Richmond, and 6 degrees in Crawfordsville. Now we're starting to see the clouds move in, and it is currently 10 degrees at the Indianapolis airport. Winds are out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour, and it feels like it is 1 below 0. Clouds will continue to increase today, and the winds will be out of the southeast. Temperatures will respond to that and climb into the mid to upper 20s all across central Indiana. But we are tracking this weekend storm, and looks like we're going to see 2 different waves of steady snow, possibly mixed in with some rain. I think the first heavier snow will start to push in after midnight tonight, continue until about 6 a.m. Then we'll see a little break in the action as you're heading out to possibly your church services or other activities. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. we'll see snow mixed in with some rain, especially from Indianapolis and points to the south. And the heaviest snow we do have confidence will be north of Indianapolis. So I'll have a snow map in just a moment, but take a look here. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect for all of central Indiana from 7 p.m. tonight until 7 p.m. tomorrow night. We'll start to see the snow moving in after 7 o'clock this evening, and then as we head into the overnight hours, it becomes more widespread. We'll see steady snow moving throughout the overnight hours. As we get into the 6 o'clock hour, we'll start to see a little break in the action. Temperatures overnight fall to around 22 degrees. Winds will be out of the southeast, accumulating snow likely, and again, the heaviest snow to our north, because we do think this will stay all snow north of Indianapolis. The question is about this little bit of freezing line here, and that could shift a little bit farther to the north. Notice Future Track right now has it south of Indianapolis, but along that Bloomington, Columbus, Greensburg line, that area going to see lower snow totals due to that mixing in with some of that rain. As we get into the later hours on Sunday, still widespread snow to the north, and then as this colder air starts to move in, we'll see that change over from snow back to rain, or excuse me, from rain back to snow across that southeastern portion of central Indiana. And then it will start to taper off as we head into Sunday night. So this is a long event. It starts up tonight, but we'll likely see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. We may pop this up just a little bit depending on how that colder air settles in. So along that I-70 corridor, 2 to 4 inches to the north. We do have more confidence, a lot of moisture with this system, 4 to 6 inches, and portions to the south around 1 to 2 inches will be more likely. 28 degrees is your high for this afternoon, down to 22. And then a high of 34 as we head into Sunday afternoon, 2 to 4 inches for Indianapolis. Again, we're going to continue to tweak this forecast for you, so keep checking back with us today here on Channel 13 as well as all of our social media. Naomi?
Kelly, thank you. Maroon 5 fans have a chance to see the group live here in Indianapolis. It's tonight.
Baby, I'm praying on you tonight. Hunt you down and shoot light. Just like animals, like animals.
A good one. The band is kicking off their world tour tonight at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. They will visit 27 cities in North America before heading overseas to Europe and Australia. Tonight's concert nearly sold out, but you can still get some seats to see Adam Levine. There are some seats available. You just have to go to StubHub. Now here's Rich Nye with a look at what's next in sports.
Hey, good morning. Operation Basketball. The regular season is over now for most teams. We've got your highlights and the Spirit Award 5 finalists. That's coming up with the Bethesda Christian cheerleaders in the house.
Go Patriots!
Operation Basketball on Eyewitness News is brought to you by Reed Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Ray Skillman Automotive, and powered by the IHSAA.
Go time!
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Operation Basketball. The cheerleaders from Bethesda Christian are with us this morning, and the state tournament will start on Tuesday. This morning we wrap up the regular season for most basketball teams. The Birdcage loves what Southport is doing this season. Malik Bennett poking the ball away here from behind. Blake Evans makes the long pass ahead to Bennett, and watch this finish. Southport with a 20-point lead over Mooresville at the half. In transition now, Bennett will lob it up top to Paul Scruggs. Just a sophomore with that jam, 18 points as Southport wins 77-49. One more game for the Cardinals Saturday against top-ranked Evansville Rights. That's this afternoon. The defending 4A state champion Tech Titans hosting Ben Davis. That's C.J. Walker, number 11. Fine player for the Titans and a fine move there to the basket and one. But then Walker gets picked by Stephen Matthews. Going the other way with the loose ball and the bucket. Ben Davis wins 62-43. It's win number 500 for Coach Mark James. I played for Mark James at Franklin Central. Zionsville hosting McCutcheon. Braden Hall, that is, knocks down a three for the Eagles. And the Eagle likes that. Yeah, you're looking good. McCutcheon coming the other way. Drive, layup, and foul for Hayden Deaton. Jake Mann was the man for Zionsville, 21 points, basket and foul, and Zionsville wins 53-42. All right, that's here this morning from the cheerleaders of the week from Bethesda Christian. Ladies, go right ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4. The revolution is here. It's time. Bethesda Patriots, one of a kind. Victory, ambition, perfection, success. These ladies in red are a step above the rest. Judges pay attention, fans in the crowd, stand up for your Patriots and shout it out loud, 'cause we are the Patriots, the best team by far. Our eyes are set, first place will be ours. Patriots!
All right, all season long we've been looking for the best fans in the stands, the best Central Indiana student section to win this big trophy, the Operation Basketball Spirit Award. And here we go with the 5 finalists for this big trophy. Brownsburg, Guerin Catholic, Hamilton Southeastern, Noblesville, and Southport. We're going to announce the winner next Friday. Well, Hamilton Southeastern might get the Spirit Award, but they did not get the win. Lawrence North's Rock Capetti with that jam, and then Zach Gunn out top for a three for the Royals, but Lawrence North wins 64-50. And one more highlight for you this morning. Senior night at Decatur Central, the Hawks hosting Danville. The inbounds play goes to Ryan Klomp for the baseline jumper for the Warriors. But Decatur Central pulls the upset last night. Senior C.B. Bennett hits the floater as time runs out in the first quarter. 23 points for Bennett. The Hawks get up close and personal for a 77-76 win. All right, thanks for watching this morning. Remember, Spirit Award next Friday. We've got 5 finalists, and thanks to Bethesda Christian, our cheerleaders of the week. Have a great Saturday.
All right, well, we want one last check at our weather before we go to the Today Show.
We are watching out for another winter storm to interrupt our weekend. Can you believe this?
Again.
It's going to be heavy snow later on tonight. In the meantime, a good chunk of today is actually going to be pretty quiet. Temperatures will climb into the upper 20s. We're already warming up. We didn't break any records this morning, so that's some good news. A winter weather advisory goes into effect at 7 p.m. tonight, continuing into 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So we are expecting around Indianapolis and along that I-70 corridor around 2 to 4 inches of snow at this point. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to change this. It's not completely in stone. May have to up the totals a bit, but we do have confidence in 4 to 6 inches in our north central viewing area. That's Crawfordsville, Marion, Muncie going to see the heavier bulk of snow, and then to the south where we will likely see a little bit more of that rain and snow mixing in, that's where we'll likely see those lower snow totals. So again, it really is going to depend on the temperature.
And this is the kind of thing that could follow us into Monday. So stay posted. We'll be back with you in about an hour.